So, if you're hearing this, chances are that future me is currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond her control, or she just can't be pissed to make an episode right now. Thankfully, I took initiative and prepared for when future Gomo would pussy out eventually. Yeah, I call it the Emergency Content Logistics Initiative, or E. coli for short, because this shit's some of the most contagious to ever hit the internet. What am I talking about, of course? File extensions, what else? .zip files, I know, terrifyingly compact. You could hide a body on one of these and pass it off as a chicken nugget to the uninitiated, but for some reason, the internet collectively decided the existence of exe files is what's gonna go ahead and rival everybody's looming fear of getting shanked and other fun methods of perishing. See, this could be worse. I could be enduring through a poorly made Game Maker executable right now. Oh, we're doing that anyway? Well, that was pointless. Yeah, screw it. I got however long the final edit of this video is to kill, and what better time spent than digging through GameJot and itch.io's offerings of the scariest piss-ridden experiences everybody chucked up when they were 15. EXE games, as well as existing as a plague on modern society, is a subgenre of internet indie horror indirectly spawned by the infamous Sonic.exe that existed as nothing more than a hyper-realistic creepypasta till the release of a playable recreation of the events described to have occurred over the course of said pasta, tropes and all, which is essentially the pure essence of what makes up one of these things, innit? Following in that story's footsteps, an EXE game is often comprised of, awesome conventions, like these ones. And shit like that is exactly why the whole EXE thing is so infamously shat on. You know when PETA makes a parody platformer that outranks most genuine attempts at creating a spooky.exe game, that the threshold for these things is probably dipping into the negative a tad? So I figured, hey, why not make fun of internet garbage? I got nothing better to do. Unlike a certain future self of mine. If you've been around on the internet for longer than a couple months and haven't played or at the very least heard of the existence of this stuff, you haven't lived.
I haven't.
See, I rest my case. And that's for good reason, because oh boy howdy, if there's a popular IP, there exists an EXE game of it. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Sure, sod it. Same goes for obscure online content creators that shake incessantly, scream at games made in 20-year-old game engines, and find shit jokes funny. Apparently. Yeah, you know, like that one time I played Gomo.exe back when I talked about video game creepypastas. You know, that one game that turned out to actually be a ghost in disguise that now lives in my basement and delivers daily verbal abuse to me. Yeah, that game was a stinky pile of crap.
Hey, watch it, freak! I can hear everything you're saying!
Y'all hear something? No, not the ghost whining in the background. I mean that weird ominous music that just started playing out of nowhere. What the heck was that about?
Eat shit, Curly Fry!
These things were, and still are, freaking rampant, because one, they're easy to make, and two, refer to one and shit yourself. So rampant that they created a vacuum in space-time in the shape of yours truly yelling about said things for no reason other than for the entertainment of strangers on the internet. Like a really specific and underwhelming prophecy. Or for the most part, these things may have been pushed out by the likes of potentially easier to produce jumpscare-rich poo-poo like 99% of FNAF fangame offerings. There's still a good chance most of them haven't been screamed about by an empty-faced trans girl who can stretch 3 times her height, and boy howdy am I up for cornering that market. Sorry, I got lost staring at my own regurgitated throw-up and mistook it for playing a bunch of EXE games. What the freaking cockwang and heck, man? How am I supposed to fulfill a fabricated prophecy I just spat up if all this stuff plays out the very same as the last? Well, the second best option next to don't would be make it myself. So hey, welcome to Cooking with Gomo. For those at home that like to learn the recipe for a freshly baked executable, strap in and get stabbing, because we'll need 4 ounces of hyper-realistic blood. I prepared a little in advance. A cracked copy of Game Maker. You can pay for this shit, but it really adds to the authenticity to go out of your way to parrot a program you'll spend a maximum of 10 minutes in before creating something stale as cock, or instantly abandoning your meticulously crafted half-baked drag-and-drop project, an expired pint of MS Paint, a sprite sheet of any game of your choosing ripped straight from Google Images, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, you sadists. Step 1. Some of your... I feel like my soul was violated, except with considerably less kiwi this time. Oh sweet, what is that? A totally linear jumpscare simulator? I mean, what is that? Video content potential? Well, looks like I'm playing as a humanization of hyper-realistic blood, navigating terrain made of what I can only assume to be jumpscare frames while collecting red pupils that flash static on my screen. You know, I think I was meant to whisk, not fold. Well, that was a disaster. Guess it takes a certain kind of person to make true EXE garbage, and I guess I'm just too sexy and awesome to ever truly deliver on that front. In closing, EXE horror games are 1/3 EXE and 2/3 whatever the opposite of self-explanatory is. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some anomalies floating around, like the work-in-progress Sonic PC port, a surprisingly solid reimagining of the classic Sonic.exe built from the ground up, with some legitimately creepy sequences at the helm. Something I'd love to sink my little fangs into sometime. And honestly, seeing fully fleshed out bite-sized experiences like PC Port is such an interesting and unique direction for the whole EXE trend to go in, as long as they decide not to actually advertise themselves as EXE games. You know, like this EXE that randomly appeared on my desktop. Holy crap, cook my bologna and smell my sandwich. I can order chicken nuggets off this thing? Hey, what's this thing called anyway? You know, I wondered why this stuff tasted like an entire decaying corpse.
Hey, I'm still alive, you moron!